For more on this, we've got a member of the House Financial Services Committee with us, former small business owner as well, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney of New York. Congresswoman, Hi. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Okay, New York, one of the highest property tax states in the country. This is your district. How are your constituents reacting to this news this morning?
Actually, a lot of questions coming from my town supervisors and tax collectors about what to do, but let's just look at the facts. Doubling the standard deduction, as the new tax bill has done, is going to eliminate most itemizers. And so this is only going to apply to people who deduct their property taxes and use it to itemize. Before the new tax bill, it's only about 30% of my district. With the new tax bill, it's about 5%. It's mostly the really high earners. Part of the problem in New York is that we have different dates for assessing taxes. So if you need to pay your state and your county and local taxes, those are going to be due in January. So you could probably prepay them as long as the warrant has been issued. But if you're trying to deduct your school tax, it's typically not due. It's payable in September, due in July. So you're deducting it now is only going to be, you know, a guess, an estimate of what you're going to be paying.
But being able to deduct. I mean, look, I mean, that's in your district. I can understand, and I realize you have the percentages there, but that's one district. If you look at, especially in the larger cities, whether it's Boston, whether it's New York City, we just had a reporter talk about what's happening just outside of D.C. These blue areas. You know, we have had lines out the door of people trying to prepay, and a lot of them have prepaid. And now they wake up to the news this morning from the IRS, this advisory they posted on the website at Lord knows what hour that says, oh, maybe that's not going to be legal. I mean, that's a very frustrating thing to do to people that were trying to, frankly, save a little bit of money. I mean, it just seems like it's a wrong choice by the IRS.
I think it's an advisory. Again, that doesn't mean that they're going to charge that against people. But look at it this way. There is one really simple answer. People like Andrew Cuomo and the progressive Democrats in the state assembly. Now it's time to reduce taxes. It's time to look at a pro-growth economy instead of spending just about all of your time trying to figure out a way to destroy New York. I'm from a state with the highest outmigration of people and jobs in the nation. New York just toppled. Over 1 million people have left New York since Andrew Cuomo was elected. It's because of the high taxes, the high regulatory burden, the highest minimum wage that hurts small business owners. Now we have paid family leave, which is great for employees, but it hurts small employers. It only helps the big guys against the small people.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Governor Cuomo was the one that issued the emergency advisory to New York State residents and said, if you can prepay, go do it. He was the one pushing that. That doesn't seem to be a governor who has a plan to reduce state taxes in New York, and this is just one example.
Thank the Lord. I hope he does reduce state taxes. That's something I've been fighting for when I was a member of the state assembly for 6 years. Something they didn't do. He came up with a bunch of gimmicks. He spent $8 billion in what we call cronyism dollars, $8 billion in hard-earned taxpayer money. If he wants to go out and defend and protect those billionaires and millionaires that are so loathed by the progressives, you know, even Bernie Sanders admitted the middle class is getting a tax cut. So if they want to, you know, defend and protect the high earners, then let's do so. Let's reduce taxes in New York and keep them here. I remember a long time ago when Governor Patterson first became governor, and they were saying, let's stop all those greedy people on Wall Street and prevent them. Let's put a law in place that prevents them from getting bonuses. Well, guess what? A couple of days later, the budget director said, hey, Governor, guess what? We lose huge amounts of revenue to pay for all these programs we have in New York, so that's not going to work. So let's go ahead, lower taxes on our higher earners. Let the Democrats do that and protect them. We've protected the middle class on the federal side, and not only that. As a member of this of Congress on the Republican side, I voted for this tax bill in a high tax state because it helps my earners, my middle income earners. I protected them with bringing the deduction to $10,000 for property income and even sales tax. We added back many of the popular deductions that you get, many of the tax credits, the child care credit.
I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you did, Congresswoman, because the middle class, you know, what is the middle class is very different from state to state. And you ask anybody right now that's watching this program from California or Massachusetts or New York or New Jersey, even Wisconsin has got issues when it comes to this. So we hope that governors, including our esteemed Mr. Cuomo, are watching the show. But I want to ask you about something else that's happening. This is going to affect, of course, what you're going to go back to in Washington. It's Alabama. Roy Moore, we just found out, is challenging his Senate election defeat. He is alleging rampant voter fraud. Think he's got a case?
Non-issue. No, I think it's time to move on. Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, he wants to get, his day in the sun is over. He lost the re-election. Unfortunately, we lost a seat, but I think we're going to regain that seat. I also think that Republicans are going to fare better than people think, because the Democrats simply do not have a message. Their message, I mean, what's happened this year, just some of the great things that are going on my committee, the Financial Services Committee, one of the most productive committees in Congress. So many things are happening that are going to be positive. Look at the economy. The economy is coming around. Yeah. There's enthusiasm. People are excited about it. Yeah. You know, when you talk about whining, complaining, blaming, and resisting, that's not a plan and something that people are going to get behind. When the Democrats come up with a message, I think that we're going to have to step it up. But I mean, what more can the president do? This has been a banner year. They may not like his personality, and there's certainly some issues on Twitter that a lot of people, even on my side, don't love. But
thanks for admitting that.
Look what's happening. Look at the agenda. Look at what's going to be going on. We are reducing regulations. The tax plan hasn't gone into effect, and we are already at 3% growth, and even going more. The Tax Policy Foundation has said we're going to have an increase of anywhere from 1.7 to 1.8 increase in growth on top of what we're experiencing now over the next decade.
Right.
That's going to be phenomenal. Now I just hope Bernie Sanders and senators on the Democratic side, or independent side in his case, join us in making these tax cuts permanent as soon as possible. And I think that's something that they're going to be doing.
Well, we want to see that, we do want to see more bipartisanship, especially when it comes to infrastructure and immigration. There's a lot on your plate when you go back to Washington. Enjoy your vacation this week, though.
Thank you.
Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from New York.
Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.